Knights Stadium opened several decades ago, and a ton of sports history has been made here. So what's ahead tonight as Michael Black and Riley Hall lead the Knights of Riverside to their potential first playoff berth for Division I 8-man football in program history? And a tough matchup ahead as the always strengthened Franklin Christian Academy Falcons fight for their playoff hopes to be alive as well. In this week's Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, as we bring you inside the broadcast booth, I'm Spencer Thompson. Pleasure to have you all with us. It's going to be an exciting game by far. For Franklin Christian Academy, they've only played one game in the South thus far, so technically they're undefeated and would be in the playoffs with a coin flip with Lancaster. But tonight's game, barring any miracles by either team against Lancaster Christian or Ezell Harding, it's going to be whoever wins this game is going to be the number 3 seed in the South. Riverside Christian, they've already lost to Ezell Harding. They've already lost to the Lancaster Christian Academy Knights. So if they do not win this game, they have to hope that Franklin Christian loses the rest of their South games to be able to get into the playoffs. But Riverside Christian on homecoming night is very poised to be in that position. Why? It's simple, because several injured players for the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons, including one of their seniors and one of their juniors. Now, James, in terms of the Falcons, they've got a lot of great strengths on their side, and for Riverside, of course, on homecoming night, it's big. But in terms of the Falcons, they are always a high competition team. They've kept it close. What's the formula for them tonight on the road in Fayetteville?
Well, first off, we need to get a rolling chair so I can do this Collinsworth slide. Anyways, what was your question?
In terms of the Falcons, they always put up a big challenge. What's the formula for them tonight to win on the road in Fayetteville? You have to do the hat flip as I'm asking you a question.
Well, you got to get back to the basics, okay? They're reeling a little bit. Riverside comes in tonight on a 3-game win streak. FCA is going to have to get after it like a hobo with a ham sandwich. I mean, they're going to have to just break it down and just tear into it. Tear into the game, get back to the basics. You're going to have to stop these playmakers that Riverside Christian has. I mean, that's what it boils down to. The Falcons are struggling. They were on a roll. They hit a huge speed bump with CCS last week, which, by the way, big CCS South Haven game tonight. We'll have updates of that game for y'all as well. But they're going to have to get back to the basics. Riverside, keep doing your thing. You guys are good. You were good until 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter against Ezell. So they've got everything clicking. They've got everything working. All they've got to do is continue to put the pieces together. A little bit of history. This series is tied at 4-4. If you take 2013 away, they played each other twice in 2013. Whoever wins the game during the regular season goes to the higher postseason berth. So if one team wins during the regular season, they're going to get the playoff spot. The team that loses is going to get the bowl spot. It's happened over and over and over again.
But this year there's no bowl spot to play for.
But it's still a playoff spot. Either Riverside could host a game here at Knights Stadium, or the Falcon, or not host, but they could travel. Right. It's getting into the playoffs is what they have to worry about tonight. So there you go. That's pretty simple.
And specifically for Riverside Christian, they're on homecoming night, so the festivities could potentially play a factor into distracting them here. But what are the senior leaders of Riley Hall, Crutcher Ezell, guys like that, what do they have to do to keep their home turf defended?
Well, they've also got seniors like John Knotts and Sammy Morris who have really shown up this year. I mean, Sammy Morris, week 3, Extreme Player of the Week, just a great – or not he didn't win. Riley Hall won. But Sammy Morris nominated for Week 3 Player of the Week against Swanee. Just every touchdown he scored, I think, was a non-offensive touchdown or a non-traditional touchdown. So he brings another aspect to the game. John Knotts, you really see him showing up this year in the middle of that line, just anchoring it down, stuffing everything that comes up the middle. They've got to keep that going tonight against the Franklin Christian team that could try to run the ball on them. They've got a big, I think it's number 95. I mean, just a massive dude, probably about 6'8", 6'9", maybe 6'10". So he's definitely going to be a challenge tonight for Knotts and maybe even Riley Hall. They've just got to break it down and do what they know how to do.
We've seen some great matchups between these two teams before, but what's even more at stake, it's a playoff spot for the number 3 seed in the South. Falcons, Knights, next.
And join us as we have a word of prayer from Marshall Stillman, former RCA Knight football player. And then also followed that will be our national anthem by the RCA choir. The choir consists of Mr. Shane Morris, Ms. Angel Paul, Ms. Abby Ogle, Alyssa Hampton, Callie Eldridge, Ms. Campbell Croft, Malaya Edmondson, and Ms. Haley Williams. Marshall will be having a prayer, and then they'll follow with the national. Please remain standing for the national anthem.
We'll be back with you here in a moment on the Falcon Broadcasting Network.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day you've given us, Lord, this evening, where we can come out and play the wonderful game of football, Lord. Please help both teams to stay safe, Lord, tonight, and play this game with great sportsmanship, and above all, to show your love, Lord. Thank you for this wonderful school and what it means to the community, Lord, and thank you for all the many blessings you've given us, Lord, day to day. Thank you most of all for your Son and his sacrifice on the cross. It's in his name I pray. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Beautiful national anthem by some of the students here at Riverside Christian Academy, and there was a lightning strike in the distance, so I believe they will delay the game, but the head referee,
I don't know, Spencer.
the head referee is bringing them to the middle for the coin toss, and we will get underway in just a moment.
Spencer, I think we could get some audio of that coin toss.
If they've got if the referee has his microphone on, then we can certainly get it.
Maybe not.
I've never really told him to get the coin toss in the past, but we might as well. It depends on. This is the first game we've started on time in a while.
Shoot, you ain't kidding.
Captains for RCA, number 33, Riley Hall, number 55.
So we'll get the coin toss ruling in just a moment.
12, David Black. Number 3, Sammy Morris.
White cap for the night is David Connors, and back judge Larry Tidwell. It seems like he follows all of the games that we're doing, either as a white cap or as a back judge, side official. He in some way or another, he's earned his stripes with the 8-Man Extreme broadcast. For sure.
Very, very strange.
So it looks like FCA won the toss and elected to defer, and I believe the Falcons will kick to start the first half.
Christian won the toss, elected to defer. Riverside will receive.
So the Riverside Knights on homecoming will receive the ball for the beginning of the game, but depends on what their decision was on a lightning delay, because we did see some strikes in the distance after our pregame show, but looking like the referees are going to get this show going.
I think they're going to keep it going.
Just unless there's another lightning strike. Must be with high school rules, the lightning strike might be after the kickoff, but No rain here tonight. Beautiful weather in Knights Stadium. And on homecoming, especially congratulations to Riley Hall on being the homecoming king for 2019.
He's still not that good looking. I don't know how he won it. He's not that good looking.
Well, might be the seniority and the amount of years that he's been at Riverside.
I always love how they go with the Virginia Tech entrance.
They do. Maybe we'll get another copyright strike for it on YouTube.
Oh, let's do it. It's been so many days since a copyright strike. We're due one. Let's do this.
Let's get another one while you say your prayers and forget my son.
YouTube.
Another copyright strike, even though it's being played in stadium.
YouTube, do you hear us?
Let's do it.
We do not choose this music, please.
As the Knights come out, they know what's at stake. The Falcons know what's at stake. It's an intense battle for the third place in the MTAC South. And again, with Riverside, this is their last South game of the season. The rest of their games are playing teams in the North. A win tonight, and they clinch their number 3 seed. A loss tonight, and they have to hope that FCA loses several of their games. It doesn't clinch it necessarily, but the tiebreaker is over there. Or more so, they have to hope that FCA loses 2 of their games and then loses to Franklin Classical in the final week of the regular season. So with Riverside, it'd be a long waiting game to determine if they're in the playoffs or not. But for the Knights, they got to get the job done here.
Well, you can't understate this rivalry. Again, 4-4 overall so far since they started playing each other in 2012. When Riverside came to 8-man football. It's been a good rivalry so far. Spencer, last night, in case you didn't see it on our social media, Tennessee School for the Deaf, they lost 56-20 to South Haven Christian last Thursday. Of course, we had the broadcast. They beat South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind. Of course, blind kids not on the team, but South Carolina School for the Deaf, 56-20. So a big win for the Vikings, moved to 1-1 on the year. Of course, a couple games going on tonight. We mentioned South Haven Christian Community was canceled due to a forfeit by Swanee. Too many injuries and roster situation.
I did not hear about that situation.
Yeah, and then tonight, you still have Lancaster Bowling Green Christian. And then tomorrow night, of course, we've got the Franklin Classical School hosting.
And it's an onside kick, a little squib kick to start it out, and down at the 20-yard line for Riverside is Marcus Whitworth. They had deep back to receive one of the Riverside Knights, and doesn't get it back there, but a decent attempt at a squib kick there by Andrew Hasley, and the Knights of Riverside will take possession to start out here.
We're going to see that senior, David Black, of course, last year out with a broken collarbone. Jake Rubelski, the freshman, had to step in, take over, did a great job coming into this year. A few questions about how that would work out. We now know David Black in his senior year, they gave him the reins, and Jake Rubelski is working as a closer in a closer role.
And we'll see how they do on their first offensive drive for the Knights. It's a handoff on the right. So who else than Crutch Rizal gets about a first down, a yard extra. First, maybe a little bit short. They move the chains for a...
I thought it was a first down.
Second down and 2. So they adjusted the chains a little bit there to stretch it out, but about 2nd and 2, maybe 2nd and 1 for the Knights.
And Spencer already from Bowling Green. Lancaster Christian is up on the Warriors 8-0. Could get ugly.
And Lancaster Christian has managed to beat up on the teams they faced in the North so far. They gave Christian Community a run for their money. I believe they of course, refaced the Tennessee Heat in the beginning of the year, 50-0. Quick pass to Morris. Left side, Sammy Morris to the open field. And Sammy Morris, welcome to homecoming. Touchdown, Riverside.
There's Morris showing up as a senior. He's been quiet the last few years. They needed a big senior receiver to step up. Of course, you've got Crutch Rizal. You've got Raymond Hunt, Michael Black, all these guys. But you needed that senior leadership. And Crutchery and Sammy Morris is that guy. I mentioned against Swanee. Punt return for a touchdown. Kick return for a touchdown. Fumble return for a touchdown. Just over and over, he's proven his worth on this team. And right there, that's a massive play right off the bat to give the Knights the lead.
We've seen many big plays like that from Sammy Morris as a senior, one of the several leaders who had to step up when that vacancy at the senior leadership from John Trahan from last year graduated. One of the greats for Riverside. 2-point conversion attempt is
I don't think he got it.
It's
They're gonna
good!
call it good. Wow.
The catch made. Brilliant move by Riverside's 83 Michael Black, the sophomore making the big move early on. And Riverside strikes first on their home turf. Just 67 seconds shaved off of the clock. That is all the Knights needed to get their first score at homecoming. And Riley Hall set for the kickoff with deep back to receive. The same man who kicked it off to start the game, Andrew Hasley.
He's been doing a lot. First year playing football, homeschool kid. Of course, Franklin Christian having a co-op with West Academy out of Dixon, Tennessee. He's one of those kids that came over in the co-op, and he's proven to be very, very helpful.
West Academy co-oping with Franklin Christian for several years, and it's proven to help them numbers-wise. And Hasley picks it up at about the 2-yard line. He's headed to the right side, dodges a tackle. It's stopped at about the 15-yard line by Crutch Rizell. Now we will see Daniel Holcomb, the senior sensation for the Riverside Christian Academy Knights. Been a little bit in the shadow of his brother Braden Holcomb when he had his time at Franklin Christian, but Daniel Holcomb has had his fair struggles throughout the years of being at the quarterback position, especially with that torn ACL to where he didn't think he was going to be playing football ever again, but Franklin Christian is certainly thankful for him to be back.
Well, and, you know, Schindel, obviously, Andrew Schindel is the original Tony Romo for FCA, fumbling the snap, 2017 playoffs. But Daniel Holcomb has drawn a lot of comparisons to Romo in terms of injury, being injury-prone, struggling with injuries. But this year he has come out and been a massive advantage for FCA, just his time being around the game and seeing the older players.
It almost reminds you of an Andrew Luck at the MTAC level. The catch is made by FCA's Asa Sheets, another big name for the Falcons. The junior gets a gain of about 2 yards in the play for second, and make that actually 4 yards for a 2nd and 6.
The camera, it got me. I thought he went further down the field.
But Asa Sheets, as a junior, has made a name for himself for sure with the Falcons. Of course, as we like to call them, the Dallas Cowboys of MTAC. They always keep things interesting. Toss across the middle, incomplete. Almost a one-handed catch by Davis Carpenter.
One of those Carpenter boys. Do they ever stop?
I don't think so.
They keep coming. I mean, we had Logan, we had Bennett. It's like, man, maybe that's it. Nope. Here comes Davis.
Logan, Bennett, there's Davis, the junior, and Owen Carpenter, the
Owen
freshman.
shows up. It's like, dude, where does it stop? It's like the Morse family for Riverside.
So Holcomb on a 3rd and 6 across the middle. The catch is made. Good catch by
He got that
Hasley.
first down.
And spotted at about the line to gain, and they will move the chains for 1st and 10.
You'll see big old number 90, Jackson Laganis. I guess that's how you say his name. A freshman for FCA, played a little bit last week. Time to get on there. They might use him a little more on defense as he acclimates. Last week was his first week on the field. But that FCA offensive line giving Holcomb just enough time to get the pass away, and he's doing stuff like this.
And there's an attempted pass away that's incomplete, intended for his receiver, Asa Sheets, and there's time called on the field.
Well, no, it's incomplete. Ezel thought he could run it back, and the ref was blowing it dead. But and not the missed pass that Holcomb was doing. Just things like Holcomb's doing little things to help his offensive line. He's doing little bootlegs, little rollouts, just kind of buy his guys some time. That's something that an experienced player. I'm going to enjoy watching these two senior quarterbacks go at it.
And again, Daniel Holcomb, been with FCA since, I believe, his 7th grade year. Deep toss on the right side, intended for Carpenter. It's a big catch! Carpenter tries the stiff arm down to the 28-yard line. And what a name for yourself after Logan and Bennett coming through the school. How about Davis making his name as a junior?
Hey, that ability that those older brothers brought to the field, it stayed in the genes. I don't know what's in the genes, but that's massive. Daniel Holcomb able to get that ball up. Carpenter, a massive catch. Beat, looks like Michael Black over the top. No, Marcus Whitworth. He's a junior. He struggled a little bit at defensive back. They pair him up on Carpenter, one of the better receivers for FCA. That's a big play for the Falcons. That, the gut punch right off the bat of Riverside scoring, that might be negated here by the big passing catch.
And now 1st and 10 as they call time on the field with 8:43 left to go. So the Falcons just trying to think it over. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, and Clarksville. Let's get Jets. The Allergy Center of Franklin. Visit allergyfranklin.com. And your buddy Joe Graves with I Hate Buying Insurance. Visit ihatebuyinginsurance.com. Two timeouts left for the Falcons as they try to get down the field with that big catch by Carpenter. And now a 1st and 10 as Holcomb scrambles. He's got pressure. Holcomb just tosses it out of bounds. Incomplete.
Holcomb with the decision just to get rid of the football, but a little laundry on the field. I believe this is our first penalty of the night.
We'll get our first word from Davis Connor.
Intentional grounding, lost down.
So intentional grounding with that play. Didn't make it past the line of scrimmage on the pass. Normally you can toss it out of bounds, but it does have to make it past the line of scrimmage for that. So loss of down to get it about 2nd down and 20.
Well, and it was also, there really wasn't anybody around.
Nobody.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's just a couple double whammies going against them. It's getting ugly in Bowling Green, Spencer. Lancaster scores again. This time it's Jordan Horde with the touchdown.
Jordan Horde, another one of the weapons for Lancaster Christian as they're going to boom through the playoffs depending on who they face off against. Casey Jorgensen, you saw him have just a little bit of discussion with the referees to make sure about that intentional grounding penalty. And Jorgensen, one of the assistant coaches who used to quarterback for Franklin Christian, one of the greats back in the day, helped lead the team to their eventual championship the year after he graduated. With 8:33, it's Holcomb, left side, incomplete, intercepted. Is this going to be a pick six? Talk about a big play for the Riverside Knights.
That's big old Michael Black.
Michael Black for the touchdown.
Just couldn't get it in. Ball popped up in the air, and great awareness from Black.
Touchdown.
I want to see whose hand it popped out of. Looks like
it was a Hasley, it looked like.
Yep. No, Ace of Sheets. Ace of Sheets, it pops out of his hand. Michael Black's right there. Pick six. One of the top players last year in the league in terms of interceptions. He's continuing that trend tonight.
And another two-point conversion would make it 16-0 as the Knights are already rolling down here in Fayetteville.
And I really don't put that interception on Holcomb. That's not on him. Sheets should have hauled it in.
2-point conversion attempt. Quick toss. Ball is out, but can't return it on a 2-point conversion attempt.
You can still stop it, though, Spence. Keep it at 14.
14-0, the Knights lead the Falcons already. A big play on offense on their opening drive, and a big play on defense for the Falcons' first offensive drive. It's not often you have this in 8-man football, but we are joined to our left. We have Will Shipman, the voice of the Falcons, broadcasting for the Falcon Broadcasting Network. And to our right, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but a longtime radio broadcaster for the Riverside Christian Academy Knights, and just 3 broadcast crews in the booth tonight. It's a real pleasure to see this much exposure going to 8-man football as Hall kicks it deep back, and Hasley has it going to about the middle of the field, trying to cut back to the left side. He's got an open field if he can get past his man, and gets stuck out of bounds at about the 38-yard line.
Good return for Hasley. I'm going to be a very, 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 very happy man after tonight, after watching these great kickoffs from Riley Hall, rather. Seen a lot of squib kicks over the last couple weeks. Very happy to see some deep kickoffs. Riley Hall, one of the better kickers in terms of at least kickoffs and punts in the league.
And very happy to see the amount of media coverage that we have for 8-man football, especially at Riverside. So 8:03 left to go in the first as the Knights lead 14-0. The Falcons have yet to give a response. They had a big pass to about the 28-yard line on their last drive. Turned away by a big interception by Michael Black, the sophomore, making his name big. 8:03 left in the first as the Falcons have 2 receivers on right, 1 on left. Holcomb will just hand it off and stopped immediately in the backfield. Looked like it was Marcus Whitworth that made the tackle.
Well, they're not going to be able to run the ball very well on Riverside. Freedom Cowboys, for the Freedom Cowboys out of Huntsville, Alabama, came up here last week, and that's their bread and butter. And it didn't work. So you are not going to be able to run the ball on Riverside, at least here in this stretch.
Correction, that was Patrick Sims, the sophomore, who made the tackle. Immediately met with Asa Sheets to prevent him from getting any gain on the play. Instead of, it's a loss of 3 for 2nd and 13. Holcomb with the option. He's going to do a shovel pass, quick to Sheets. Sheets getting back to the line of scrimmage, a gain of maybe 2 yards on the play for 3rd down and 11. Falcons trying to get something going here.
They need to go back to the air, Spence. That worked for them on the last drive. Again, the interception, not Holcomb's fault, but they need to just start airing this football out. If something's successful, you've got to go back to it. That's the kind of game plan that FCA needs to have. This is not a game where they can mess around and, blow a win. This is one you have to have this.
So about 6:40 left to go in the first. As the Falcons trying to get something going. Motion, and we'll get another call.
He started forward on the right side of the line of scrimmage.
And we'll get the call.
Ball start on the offense.
So just some movement there by the Falcons, and about 6:05. Of course, you guys, if you don't already know about the playoff implications of this game that we talked about in the beginning, it's a very big deal with this game for the MTAC South. MTAC North, there's another game going on up north. It's between the Colts and the Patriots. We'll get a scoring update from it as we have them available.
Could be a low-scoring game.
But especially up in White House, the battle between Flanders and Zimmerman continues. Deep toss right side, intended for Dooley, just overthrew his man. If he had made that catch, it would have been one of the catches of the year for the Falcons. But now 4th down and 15. Looks like they're going to bring the punt team out.
Punt it away. But that's what I'm telling you right there. You got to take your shots. You gotta do it. Well, we're not getting consistent scoring updates, but we do have an update. Spencer, you don't have to hit any music. 2 minutes, 43 seconds left in the first quarter. It's South Haven 7, CCS 6.
Staying close in that first quarter. And, you know, there's a lot of speculation, not just on our side, but through players and coaches around the league that we've talked to. There's a lot of speculation about the Colts dynasty potentially being over, but it may just be the craftsmanship of something amazing like the 9-7 Patriots on that Super Bowl run last year. So we may see that even if the Colts had their loss to Lancaster. But for all we know, we'll have to see how it goes. Here's Michael Black to the right side. Gets down to about there's a flag on the field. It gets down to about the 30-yard line, and it looks like we've got a Falcon immediately down.
There was a questionable hit there on the front side of the play, Spencer. Is it too late to get an update on the back side of that return?
I believe we
Let's
can
see
get
if
a
we
little
can
bit
get
of it. We can get a little bit of it. Amazing in stadium. The clock continues to run, so
All right,
we'll
so
get the replay
if
one
you
more
watch,
time. Oh,
right there.
oh.
You're going to want to keep your eye on that one. I don't know.
That was 24, it looked like. That was Adam Hubble
Let's see
running
it
towards
one
the
more
play and couldn't see the Riverside player. That was looked like
the
Jonathan
FCA
Knotts.
player is down.
Yeah, FCA.
So Hubble's
that's
down.
Hubble's down. That was
Knotts
Jonathan
laid
Knotts.
Knotts laid Hubble out, and he's still down. So we're going to let's step away, Spencer.
We'll step away for just a little bit. 5:01 as Adam Hubble is down on the field.
I wonder what shot.
It's never a good sign when you have moments like this on the field. We haven't zoomed in on the shot there, but Adam Hubble is still down on the field. Just one of those unfortunate injuries to see for sure. We're hoping everything's okay. And looked like it was just an unfortunate hit, and we're hoping that everything's okay with him. But it's moments like this in sports where you see that, and it's one of the darker parts of FCA sports, not just FCA sports, but football in general.
Well, and this goes to show everybody, listen, 8-man football is still football. You still have hits. You still have situations that indicate that obviously this is not flag football. So you know who you are. This is not flag football. But obviously this is something that you don't like to see. For FCA, it's going to be a struggle. They have to stay calm. Daniel Holcomb, senior leader, getting fired up over the hit. A couple of these guys, you can tell already. Just notice Braden Holcomb's on the sidelines, former FCA running back. He was at Carson Newman for a minute. They're going to have to work really hard to keep these guys calm, or this game could get super out of hand. And, of course, you look at the schedule. You look at who Riverside has next week. Guess what? It's an MTAC team. It's the Tennessee Heat. You look at who FCA has. It's Lancaster. You cannot afford for any players to be ejected tonight because they will have to set out next week's game.
And it didn't look like anybody was ejected, and they're still looking at Hubbard, so we'll step aside again, just hoping that everything's okay with him. The good news for sure, ambulance staff is here to get Mr. Adam Hubble to the appropriate medical attention. The Lincoln Medical Center ambulance arriving, and always a good sign when they're here sooner than later is the important thing. We wish all the best to, of course, Adam Hubble, a sophomore, having that collision, and hoping that everything is okay with him, and that hoping it's just something not too serious as the medical staff get him on the stretcher.
Getting word that He'll be headed to, more than likely, headed to Lincoln Medical Center right up the road.
It says it on the ambulance.
Yeah, it does. There you go, Smiths.
Mhm.
I hadn't looked at the ambulance. Not to break away from this moment, but at the end of the first, up in White House, Christian Community leads South Haven 12-7. Super close game up there.
Keeping it close
Big
there.
Impact North match, and the Lancaster game is getting out of hand. Last update we got was 20-0, I believe. 22-0.
So it's getting out of hand up in Bowling Green, keeping it close up in White House, and we may see the Falcons for their fallen teammate get back here and try to make it an even closer game.
Falcons have to keep themselves under control, though.
For
You
sure.
have to. You cannot afford to just go haywire for the honor of your teammate and get yourself ejected.
Especially for the Falcons down the stretch. Next week they're at Lancaster. So any ejections and they're not playing in that game.
That's what I was
next
just
week.
saying. Yeah, you cannot be giving up players like that. They're already struggling with injuries.
Unlikely any of them would, but it's always something to keep in mind.
Of course, this rivalry always very. This one's chippy, but it's still kind of respectful. Franklin Classical, Riverside, that one's very chippy. Franklin Christian, Franklin Classical, very chippy. So those three teams, whenever they play each other in any combination, it's always going to be a chippy game, chippy contest. And I'll talk about chips, makes me hungry. But anyways,
Yeah, for a sophomore to have a hit like that, we'll show it one more time just to, if you're just tuning in, you can see the back end of it at about the middle left of your screen.
just a massive hit on the backside of the punt return.
Jonathan Senior going against a sophomore there, just trying to make a football play. And
John Knotts is not a small dude either. He's a big guy, and Hubble is not the biggest dude out there on the field.
And the only thing you can hope for is when that film is reviewed, at least if you're hoping that Hubble is okay as the stretcher comes out, but you look at that film, you're hoping that there's no repercussions from the league after that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to wonder about that Riverside, a game against the Tennessee Heat next week. So it's going to be all hands on deck for them. But at the same time, that doesn't excuse the play. I would say it was an unnecessary hit, maybe not dirty, but it was unnecessary. So that's definitely something that the league is going to have to look at.
I'm sure the league will get a perspective of the film on both sides. Maybe they'll reach out to us for an additional angle, who knows, even though all the film guys up here have about the same angle as we do. But I'm sure that we want to make sure to keep the players safe and keeping players accountable, things like that.
Up in Bowling Green, the Warriors have gotten on the board Gage Holman with a big touchdown run, and he converted the two-point conversion as well. So it's 22-8. Still in the first quarter, I believe.
Hubble can't see it from this side of the ambulance, but
See if we can get a shot right there at the back of the ambulance.
probably get him in. Probably already getting him on the stretcher at the moment, and all the best wishes for the sophomore player. You'll hear it in just a few moments. All of the fans and all the players and everybody giving a round of applause for him getting onto the stretcher. Of course, this doesn't just happen at the youth level. It's not as often, but we saw it actually in Monday Night Football, I believe, between the Texans and the Saints. I believe there was, excuse me, no, it was the Raiders and Broncos on Monday Night Football. There's one of the players who had to get put to the stretcher, but we definitely hope that Adam Hubble, everything's all right with him.
Spencer, a minute into the second quarter. And again, not to take away from the gravity of this, but we are trying to keep you all updated. A minute into the second quarter, South Haven has taken a 13-12 lead on Christian Community.
So it looks like Hubble's mom is going into the cab of the ambulance as well. It's I believe they have in there. Hoping everything is okay with him as he's taking the local hospital down here in Fayetteville, or at least in Lincoln County.
You got to love the great setup they have here at Riverside. Driveway coming straight into the field, and the accessibility for an ambulance to be able to get down here, get any young men that need to be picked up, and get them to a medical facility where they need to go. You got to love the ability of being able to do that.
.501 left to go in the first. The ambulance will be leaving the field shortly, and we will step aside one more time. When we come back, the football game will resume between the Falcons and the Knights. We'll see how the Falcons pick back up. Blood Moon shot. You just missed the announcement by Mr. David Connors, but Jonathan Knotts, the senior, has been disqualified from the contest. So by conference rule, he will not play next week as the Riverside Knights face against the Tennessee Heat. And like I said earlier, of course, no hit. It looks like they were intentional or not, but it does. But I would not be surprised if there are more league repercussions for that play.
Well, no, I think he obviously he will. The rules are that he is out for next week, mandatorily. But I think that's the extent we'll have. And of course, we're going to get to see big number 90, Jackson Lagnus for FCA out on the field.
So Lagnus on the field for the Falcons. And again, we hope all is well with Adam Hubble. So 1st and 10, Riverside starting up their offensive drive after that stoppage. Quick toss, complete. Sammy Morris. Morris to the right side. He's being chased down by several defenders. He's got a blocker. How about another? Gets to about the 31-yard line. A big 1st down and 10.
There's going to be a lot of extracurricular, and you've got to control it. A lot of out-of-bounds slings, a lot of unnecessary hits. You got to keep those down because you cannot continue to get players ejected from this game. That is something you have to keep under control. I know I keep saying it over and over and over again, but it's so important for these teams to keep that in mind with not just a rivalry game like this, but with what just happened. That's a big part of it.
Composure is a big part to any football game, regardless of an injury or not, but in that case, it just makes it more detrimental to which team is going to win down the stretch. David Black in the shotgun. Hands it off to Izell. Loss of about a yard or two on the play for 2nd down and 11.
And it looks like he got stopped there by number 80, Matthew Beecher, who's been able to show up so far this year for FCA, especially on the defensive side of the ball, been able to make some tackles.
So 2nd and 11. Riverside trying to get something going here and get another score in, but Falcons trying to stand for their fallen teammate. There was, during the injury timeout, a lot of Falcons players were getting hyped on the bench, just trying to get the energy going. Looked like some movement right side. It's over to Michael Black. He's got some open field. Gets down to about the 19-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Knights. And we got another update. It's starting to get really intense up in White House.
Well, first let's go to Bowling Green. Lancaster, they lead 36-8. Gage Holman with the lone touchdown for the Warriors. Deuce Bragg continues to just tear defenses up. From White House, South Haven 13, Christian Community 12 in the 2nd quarter.
Meanwhile, down here in Fayetteville, it's inside of the red zone. And the agitation from the Falcons defense is very prevalent with some of the extracurricular activities and how they've been trying to defend on this drive. Black, it's another pass to Ezel. Can't wrap up a tackle. That was an attempt by Davis Carpenter. That allows Crutcher Ezel to get up to about the original line to gain, short of about 4 yards for 2nd and 4.
Those little arm tackles are not going to do anything when you're playing really, really good players, which is what Riverside has. You've got to just put your body on them, and you've got to shut those legs down to stop them. You can't just try to grab their arm and sling them to the ground or wrap them up in a big bear hug like your family at Thanksgiving. You've got to completely stop them.
2nd and 4. And there's a pitch in the backfield. So left side pushes through the defense. That was a big run by Riverside's Raymond Hunt, and the sophomore who's made a name for himself for the Knights of Fayetteville. There's under 2 minutes left to go with about a 3rd down and 2.
Well, that's a textbook tackle as well. Just break it down, put your shoulder into them, and shut them down, and that's exactly what they just did. That's a good play right there. That's a good football play.
90 seconds left to go in the 1st. Riverside knocking on the door of the end zone. Quick toss left side. Ezel makes the one-handed catch, cuts inside, touchdown for Riverside.
Able to break it inside Asa Sheets. Great move from Ezel.
Touchdown, Riverside.
We do apologize if the stream quality is struggling a little bit. Of course, the signal down here, not the absolute greatest. Still good enough to be able to do a game at one of our favorite fields to come to, but
I think it's just because everybody here is on Verizon, and the problem with everybody being on the same tower, there's only so much bandwidth that can go per line. But, of course, 20-0 regardless of cell signal. And 2-point conversion attempt for Riverside. And toss over right side. Crutcher Ezel can't make the catch.
nope, nothing.
20-0. Knights lead over the Falcons. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. Dr. Sterling Foster. Visit drsterlingfoster.com for all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs. Chuck Miner Homes. Visit chuckminerhomes.com for the best home deals in Middle Tennessee. And by Symmetry Financial Group's Daniel Hoffmeister. Safety for your family. 114 as the ball is a little bit muffed there, but picked up by Hasley. And he gets down to about the 23-yard line. So we'll see if the Falcons can get anything going now, as they've got about 104 to deal with before the end of the first quarter. Plenty of time for them to get something going here. But
Not the greatest return for them, but it'll get the job done.
not the greatest defensive stand for Bowling Green up in their home city.
Yeah, it's getting ugly. 42-8. Jordan Horde, another touchdown run.
So it's now 42-8, right?
Yeah, 42-8. Still sitting at 13-12 last time we heard between CCS and South Haven.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike. Number 12.
So an unsportsmanlike called on Andy Reed, the junior. And as far as I'm aware, I believe high school did adopt the two personal fouls and ejected,
Yes.
or probably two unsportsmanlikes.
What's a good rule to go by?
I'm sorry. First and 10 Falcons from the 12-yard line.
So they'll start in their own red zone at the 12-yard line with 64 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
Holcomb's got to step up right here. First drive was great. Second drive, they stalled.
And a flag thrown on the left side. This catch is made by Asa Sheets, and he's pushing through. They spot him at about the first down marker.
I think it's going to come back. I think that flag's on FCA on the far side of the field.
We'll see what David Connors gives us.
Tackle by Rebelski, flag on the play.
There was a gain of 10 yards just right at the first down marker, but we have a flag. Looking at the
Just waiting on the call.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So somebody was not fully on the line of scrimmage. They only had 4 instead of the necessary 5.
Was illegal formation.
So that'll back the Falcons up even more, and that's not what you need.
Repeat first down, first and 17.
So they continue to run down the clock. The Falcons backed up deeper into their territory on about the 6-yard line. About 35 seconds to wind down.
Well, they're going to let Holcomb do what he likes to do, but you're going to see this pass come to the right side. He got a single man. I want to say that's Zach Dooley. It's one of his favorite targets. It's coming to him.
Dooley
Maybe not.
Across the middle. Catch is not made by Dooley. It's Davis Carpenter getting back to the original first down marker and a little bit more to the 14-yard line.
That'll do it.
And that's going to do it for the end of the first quarter. 22-0. The Knights lead over the Falcons. They've boomed to start out the game. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, sponsored by International Fire Protection Incorporated. Life safety is our business.
Yes, sir.
Grow, Live, Give. Visit growlivegive.com. Star Physical Therapy. Your health, our hands. Choose Star. And by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. Start of the second quarter for the Riverside Christian Academy Knights and the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons in an MTAC South battle that will determine who gets the number 3 seed in the 16 playoff. Spencer Thompson and James Shannon proud to bring you every moment of this from Fayetteville, Tennessee at Knights Stadium.
Holcomb. He checked to a secondary play.
And checks it on the left side, incomplete. Intended for Hasley again. So now make that 9-second shaved off the clock.
Was that Hasley?
Looked like it was Hasley.
No, it was number 84. Yeah, it was Hasley. I thought Hasley was a different number.
I know a good optometrist if you need one, James.
Nah.
Nah, I think I'll be.
Hey, Spencer,
fine.
how about an update from White House?
Oh, boy.
Hit the music. CCS, touchdown, 2-point conversion. They lead South Haven 20-13 in the second quarter.
CCS leading by only 7 points, and South Haven trying to fight for their right to get a first-round bye.
And South Haven's kicker's 1 of 2 on extra points, by the way.
And if everything goes according to the predictions that
Illegal
were made,
formation on the offense.
legal formation for the Falcons moves it back 5
I
yards.
know.
Didn't even see a flag on the field. But
I don't know.
5 yards.
Don't say I know, because I don't know.
But, of course, if everything goes according to the James Shannon index, it's going to be a shootout in the final week of the regular season between Lancaster and Ezel for the first-round bye. And is that a safety? Looked like the ball was loose and spiked at the last second. It is a safety.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Another 2 points for the Knights, and
makes up for that missed 2-point conversion.
We'll see what we got here on this safety there. It looked like he may have lost the ball just a little bit, but we got the replay for you.
An offensive line just couldn't handle the bull rush. Looks like Crutcher Ezel was the one that blitzed into the backfield.
And a good move by Holcomb, at least, to trap the ball back into his person instead of letting it get caught for 6.
Exactly.
But, of course,
Ooh, that's getting ugly, Spencer.
But, of course, you never want any moments like that to happen. We'll be right back with the Kingdom Extreme Game of the Week. Took a little bit extra time for the officials to figure out where they were kicking off from, and it's from the 15-yard line nearest to the end zone where the safety occurred.
I would have thought that they would punt it from the normal spot. I don't know.
There was a delay of game, so that might be why they're moved
Well,
back.
yeah, because nobody can figure out what side of the field they're supposed to be on.
Well, no, the delay of game was on that safety. And deep kick.
It's a great kick from Hasley. He's been doing it all year.
Here's Sammy Morris taking it to the right side. He's got it into about the 50-yard line. Big play by Matthew Beecher, the senior, to stop him at the 50.
Still a great kick from Hasley. We saw it to begin the game.
10 from the Falcons, 49-yard line.
He's able to make it happen.
9:43 until we reach halftime, and the Knights get it back after managing to get a safety on Holcomb. So the Knights trying to get the score a little bit more up, but as we said already, it's number 3 seed is probably going to be locked between the Falcons or the Knights most likely. It's this game, whoever wins it has the upper hand, pending any big upsets or extreme losses by Franklin Christian. It's a tough chase for the playoffs, but the number 1 and number 2 seed, it's going to come down to Ezel, Harding, and Lancaster in the final week of the regular season. There's a gain of about 3 yards for 2nd and 7.
FCA is going to have to step it up on defense. They're going to have to keep it rolling.
Here's your playoff clinching scenarios. Riverside wins it today. They're number 3. They are number 3 seed. They're locked. They have the tiebreakers because they played all their South games.
Right.
But if for some reason, actually, looking here, they have one more South game at Lancaster.
Yeah, I was about to say, they haven't played Lancaster yet.
So if FCA loses this game, they beat Lancaster, and Riverside loses to Lancaster, that could be a tiebreaker and crazy scenario.
Dead ball. Ball start on the offense. Repeat second down.
And repeat second down on just that mess up there. But, yeah, you look at the tie-breaking scenarios there, it would be one of those triangles of Riverside beating FCA, FCA beating Lancaster, and Lancaster beating Riverside. 3-way coin toss. We love those.
Spencer, it looked like we lost signal for a little bit.
It's toss on the left side. Catch is made, and for about 3rd down, that's complete to Crutcher Ezel.
So it looks like we lost signal for a little bit. Just to give everyone an update, a lot of people saying that the last thing they saw was the ambulance on the field. So on a punt return for Riverside Christian, a blindside hit by Jonathan Knotts, number 55, a senior from Riverside, took out Adam Hubble. He was on the ground the entire time. Ambulance has come and picked him up. They went to Lincoln Medical Center. Knotts has been ejected, and so he's not eligible for the game against the Tennessee Heat next week. And, of course, Riverside has scored another touchdown.
And they got a safety in the end.
And a safety as well.
So 22-0 is what we're looking at with under 8 minutes left to go before the end of the first half. And that defense is blitzing. Quick toss over to Ezel. Can they make something of nothing here? They do. They just get back and stays on his feet. He's not out of bounds. 1st and 10.
Flags pass complete to number 8, Ezel.
That's a massive play from Crutcher Ezel, and that's a big blow.
We're not going to get the shot right down the sideline, but it looked like assistant coach Jorgensen was wanting an out-of-bounds call there for Ezel, but what an athletic play. Can't even see it from there, but you can see the frustration from the Falcons coaching staff.
So, yeah, just in case you're just getting back to checking us out, sorry about the signal issues. We are struggling with that a little bit tonight.
1st and 10. Try to get a movement there from the defense. There's right side, Raymond Hunt. Tripped up, gets a gain of about a yard on the play, maybe just back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10.
That FCA defense, it needs to step up. They need to step up against that run. And they've been able to defend the pass tonight too. It's not a bad FCA team, but they've made little mistakes, and Riverside's made them pay. Interception returned for a touchdown. The safety, of course, forcing a 3-and-out. And, of course, Riverside got the ball to start the game, and they punched it in. Second play of the game on a pass to Sammy Morris from David Black.
Right side, deep toss intended for Jake Grubelski, incomplete. Good coverage on the play by Zach Dooley.
Little QB to QB action there, Spence. I like it. I like it a lot. Getting both quarterbacks on the field. We asked Coach Creasy Sunday, we said, are there any packages where both quarterbacks could get on the field? And he kind of declined to give us a little teaser, a little spoiler, but
we're seeing
there's
it
your
here.
answer right there.
Seeing
Again, another, just to keep you folks updated, up in Bowling Green, Lancaster Christian Academy, the Knights lead the Warriors 50-8. And in White House, last word we got was Christian Community 20, South Haven Christian 13 in the second quarter.
Meanwhile, here for Riverside, Black gets a quick toss out to Zell. Crutcher Zell's been his major man throughout the game, and he's got another one towards the end zone. Another touchdown for the Knights.
Boy, they bit hard on that screen pass. They thought they had a free shot to David Black. And he said, nope. Big touchdown.
Crutcher Zell's been his main target throughout the game, and just another instance of it there. It's all the way to the outside and into the end zone. So a 2-point conversion attempt coming up again, and Riverside getting closer and closer to that mercy rule threshold.
I want to see an extra point for real, though.
Of course you do. We know this, James.
I live for extra point kicks.
You just live for field goals in general.
I live for field goals in general. You're right, Spencer.
You're especially when you come down to Riverside and reminisce in the days of Antonio Zita.
Oh man, so beautiful. Such beautiful kicks.
Here's Crutcher Zell takes
killing it
snap.
up there at TSU.
28-0 with 6:06 left to go in the second. TheKingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is brought to you by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, and Clarksville. Let's get Jets. The Allergy Center of Franklin. Visit allergyfranklin.com. And Joe Graves with I Hate Buying Insurance. Visit IHateBuyingInsurance.com. .06 left to go in the second. The Knights are just dominating on their homecoming night against the Franklin Christian Falcons. And Hasley has the ball again, deep to receive. Can he put a spark in the Falcons here? And fumbled out of bounds.
Boy.
If he had kept possession of it, he would have been gone. Big
The end of that run was like seeing your mother-in-law drive off a cliff in a Cadillac. You got mixed feelings about it. Nice hurdle. He steps out of bounds, though, and fumbles the ball out of bounds. But then he fumbles the ball out of bounds. So take the good with the bad.
For those of you who can't
You don't
see this in the
understand
press
it, Spencer,
box,
because you don't have a mother-in-law, okay?
for those of you who are not here in the press box, and those of you who can't see the shot of the press box at the moment,
Why don't you flip the camera around?
No, when James started that analogy, you have to smoothly fit in the phrases that people have challenged you to put in your broadcast. That was just excessive. 5:57 left to go.
Again, you don't have a mother-in-law, Spence. But you have driven a Cadillac, so you can kind of see where I'm coming from.
It's now 2nd down and 7 with a run up for 3 yards. What is it that what do you do here as the Falcons? I mean, you're down by 28 and going into the halftime locker room. I mean, of course you lost your player earlier due to most likely a concussion, but what is it for the Falcons? What are you trying to do here to get back in this game?
You got to start airing that ball out. You've got to start going with what works. We've seen it happen over and over. What works? They've got to try a couple different things. For all I know, Put big old number 90 in the backfield. Just start letting him pound the football or put him at a tight end position. Let him take 3 steps, turn, and get the ball. But you got to try something.
Gets it to the right side. It could have been picked off there by Raymond Hunt, but the catch is made with a loss of 1 yard on the play. Make that 3rd down and 7.
Tackle by number 7, Hunt.
As the Knights defense stands tall and continues to do so here in Fayetteville. The Falcons offense just hasn't been getting anything going in the first
Spencer,
half.
hold up the talk about that dynasty. I don't know who's been talking about it, but in White House, the Colts lead the Patriots 28-13.
Hold up the talk. You mean continue that talk of the dynasty?
Well, no, you were saying is the dynasty over. I'm saying, well, it's 28-13, and whoever wins tonight more than likely will have first place in the division. They're both undefeated so far.
That third
CCS is 2-0, and South Haven is 1-0, I believe. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Dead ball. Delay game.
So they move it back 5 yards for about 3rd down and 12.
Yeah, you got to try something different if you're FCA.
13.
Because you started out, it's like the Eddie Mineo song. They were coming in hot, and it just, ever since then, they fizzled out.
So Bowling Green, so right now Bowling Green and the Tennessee Heat are the teams that are really vying for that spot in the MTAC North, the 3rd slot for the playoffs, and we got more flags.
Timeout. No, we're going this way.
So timeout called by Riverside. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. Dr. Sterling Foster. Visit drsterlingfoster.com for all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs. Chuck Minor Homes. Visit chuckminorhomes.com for the best home deals in Middle Tennessee. And Symmetry Financial Group's Daniel Hoffmeister. Safety for your family. .348 left to go in the second. As Hasley, left side, tries to spin out, gets a gain of about maybe 2 yards on the play for 4th down, and the punt team coming out.
I don't understand the play calling, Spence. I really don't. You've had success throwing the football. When you spread it out, you go your 4 wide receivers, whether you go 3-by-1, 1-by-3, 2-by-2. Animals on the arc. It doesn't matter. You got to spread it out. You got to get the football through in the air and start chipping away down the field, and that's not what they're doing. And here now it's 4th down and 12.
They're going to go for it.
In their own end of the field.
They're going to go for it on 4th down and 12.
Changing up the call.
Trying to get something going. Maybe trying to get the defense to jump off, but Holcomb, quick toss, airs it out left side to Hasley. Comes back, intercepted.
No, he dropped it.
Incomplete.
That's good eyes by the official. Morris had his back turned to the official, and he was trying. He almost could have just covered up the fact he didn't haul it in completely. Looks like he had it maybe against his leg, and then it came out or something. But pass underthrown by Daniel Holcomb. Route overrun. Who was that intended on the throw?
It's Hasley.
No, it was a Hasley. Yeah, it just overrun.
Hasley's been targeted a lot tonight for the
He
Falcons.
has. I mean, him, Asa Sheets, Zach Dooley is someone that they need to get up and running. Hasn't done a whole lot tonight so far. They need him to.
It's 2:48. The Riverside Knights have one more thing they're going to try here. They got plenty of time to get another score here, potentially force the mercy rule going into the second half.
Speaking of mercy rule, it's rolling in Bowling Green. Lancaster now leads 62-8.
There's a handoff. Crutcher-Ezel, right side, cuts back in, keep the clock running, gets to about the 37-yard line. Will continue to run. Second down, and it's like about second down and 4.
62-8.
That
First
game,
ever matchup between Lancaster and Bowling Green, and the Knights are taking it to the Warriors.
you think the Warriors would have rather faced them last year than this year?
Oh, for sure. For sure, you know that's the case.
That MTAC Bowl team lost a lot of seniors. So Bowling Green, they've got the second best player in the league with Gage Coleman, according to the James Shannon Index.
But football is not a one-man show, though.
It's not a one-man.
The best player in the league, Josh Austin, being on one of the teams in the league that's really struggling, Franklin Classical, who we'll see tomorrow night, host the Tennessee Heat.
There's a quarterback keep by Rubelski to the left side. Finally gets down inside of the 20-yard line into the red zone for the Knights.
That's big. They have a chance to really get the mercy rule going before halftime.
Might try to get that
crazy.
First and 10 from 18
I believe they might try to get that going into the second half, because the mercy rule, I believe it doesn't apply until after halftime.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, if you're up by enough, yes, FCA gets the ball after halftime, but you force something there and you just go ahead and start the second half off with a mercy rule.
So Black tries to get something going. It's another handoff to Shane Morris. Gets tripped up for a loss of about 2 yards on the play for second and 12.
Big old number 90 getting in there in a tackle. They're inserting him on the defensive side of the ball there at nose tackle, and it's working out for the Falcons.
Second down, 13.
So loss again, second down and 13. So now the defense is starting to pick up a little bit for Franklin Christian as the final 60 seconds wind down in the half. So maybe they might use that as motivation going forward. But with Riverside, it's a big deficit to overcome for Franklin Christian. Pass across the middle, incomplete, intended for Sammy Morris.
Good coverage there. Look like Hasley on the coverage again, able to just keep it out of reach. Now they're looking at about a third down and 13. Right outside of right inside the red zone, rather, is where the line of scrimmage is. No, it's outside, about the 23-yard line. Lagnus comes out. Let's see what they're doing.
Riverside just go towards the end zone to get that score, or are they just aiming here to run down the clock and get to the showers for halftime? Third down and 13.
You take a shower during halftime?
Some people do.
That's insane.
You ever seen that Old Spice commercial?
No.
Toss across the middle. Catch is made by Sammy Morris. Brought down, gain of about 7 or 8 yards on the play, but it's not enough for them to get the first down. But on fourth down on the 13-yard line, obviously you're going to go for it here.
Try to go Brock Lesnar with the Suplex City.
We all know what you want, James. You want a field goal.
I want a field goal right here. Riley Hall kicking it. We're going to get a timeout so that they can get everything put together.
Riverside.
And the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by International Fire Protection Incorporated. Life safety is our business.
Yes, sir.
Grow, Live, Give. Visit growlivegive.com. Star Physical Therapy, your health, our hands, choose Star. And by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. So now it's about fourth down. 21 seconds left to go before halftime.
This is a morale move right here. You got to stop them on 4th down. Unfortunately, they're not kicking.
So here's
He's their runner.
side. Does he get stopped out of bounds? They keep the clock running for 12 seconds. Are they going to call a timeout?
Well, it should have been stopped. That was 4th down, Spence.
They're just going to let it roll down.
That's
like.
crazy.
It looked like it was 4th down.
It was
I'm surprised it didn't.
No, it was 4th down.
It was 4th down. I'm
It was
surprised they
4th
didn't do a
down. They didn't
turnover.
get the first down.
So that's the officials are having a discussion here. The
Don't
Falcons
head off
are,
the field too quick,
Falcons
FCA.
are starting to head to the locker room.
AKA the corner of the field.
They may just have to jog back here.
That was 4th down. They stopped it before the first down because you could see they did not get the first down. The clock should have stopped with 12 seconds to go. FCA should have a 1st and goal, a 1st and 10.
No, yeah, FCA.
And even if Riverside got the first and goal, the clock still should have stopped. I mean, you really don't have to reset the chains, but it stops on the 1st down. So it should have stopped. FCA already in the corner of the field.
This is a sticky situation for them to be
Riverside
under.
hasn't left. Now FCA coaches are still over.
Yeah, because Coach Adams was looking back towards the officials and wondering what was going on. So
Wow.
it's called halftime. Okay. So I guess they're not going to do the turnover on downs and
Casey
halftime.
Jorgensen with a little extra on the backside.
Halftime. So we'll have the Star Physical Therapy halftime report in just a moment. You're watching the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week.
Yours is under the table.
All right.
Or here, you can use this one. Behind you.
I'm ready to go whenever you are. We're in focus, even if this broadcast quality is way down this week. It'll be better at Tennessee Heat.
Oh, did I tell you I left my boots at the hotel?
No.
Yeah, so I couldn't find them Monday.
That's why you always triple sweep.
Anyways.
I went back in the room.
Hey.
No, not yet.
Celebrating the birthday
Yeah,
tonight.
got our scoreboard right here. Go for it. That's not doing anything for them. Riverside, keep doing what you're doing. It's working.
And as for the Falcons, of course, you talked about how they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. They've got to at least get one score to try and get something going here. What is the catalyst that's going to be able to get the Falcons back in this game if possible?
It's got to be Daniel Holcomb. He's got to get up and running. Find Hasley. He's got to find Sheets. He's got to find one of the Carpenter boys. He's got to find somebody. He's already hit Sheets with or Carpenter with a big pass right on the first drive of the game. They've got to do something like that. They've got to get a little spark in that offense. Again, spread it out. Make the DBs run all over the field. It's not that hard. It's really not.
Falcons are down 28-0 at the half. We may see a mercy roll coming up. We're not sure. But we got a little bit of scoring updates before we send you officially to halftime. So, James, what do we got?
Lancaster Christian in the second quarter. The mercy rule's already rolling in Bowling Green. Knights lead the Warriors 62-8. And up in White House, last time we heard, update, they're kind of iffy from there. But in the second quarter, the Colts lead the Patriots 28-13.
The Colts dynasty looks like they're continuing, and they might have the number one seed in the North for the third straight year. We're at halftime, about 10 minutes until we resume at the second half. You're watching the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. All right.
As we roll through halftime, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of reminders of what's coming up. Middle school volleyball will host Fayetteville on Monday at 4:30, and then host Weld on Tuesday at 5. Middle school football will host Lancaster this coming Tuesday at 5:30. On Tuesday night, during halftime of the middle school football game, we will have our elementary flag football championship between the 4th and 5th grade. The winners will face the RCA faculty staff PTO All-Stars at halftime of the middle school game on September 24th. Once again, we remind you, please check out our sponsors. The field signs are located over here on the fence on the press box side. Special thank you to our spotlight sponsor, Notting Hill Inn and Events. You can find them at notting-hill.com. Also tonight, at the conclusion of the game, Riverside Church of Christ will host a good quarter fellowship in the cafeteria. Tonight, they will be serving pizza. Student council will also host games afterwards. And also another reminder about our concession stand up here close to the field house. We welcome you to frequent that at your convenience.
That's crazy. That's a big break for FCA. Massive break.
Especially when their playoff hopes are on the line here, at least to control it in their own destiny.
Well, they're going to have a massive comeback here, down 28-0.
Big comeback to make for sure, especially with the 9:20 left in the third.
And unexplainably, updates are hard to get from the FCA or CCS South Haven game, rather. So we're trying to get them for you.
Here's Holcomb again. Quick toss. Incomplete. Intended for Zach Dooley. Incomplete pass intended for the sophomore, and now 2nd and 10.
Of course, a big game in White House. It's that South Haven CCS game. So we are actively working on trying to get updates. It's crazy.
Of course, the question is, with the officials keeping time, I would like to know what their stopwatch says on their
Yeah, I
end.
mean, you might as well just put the clock at zeros. This is insane.
There's a handoff in the backfield, got the better of him. Andrew Hasley trying to make something of nothing. Cuts inside with a spin move. He's got open field.
What a move.
Andrew Hasley, trip defender, heading to the end zone. Touchdown.
No flags on the play. That was a spark.
Talk about the motivation FCA
there is a
needed,
flag on the play.
but there is a flag down.
Right there, just shy of the 20.
Waiting to hear what the call
And it's
is.
coming back.
And it looks like
I think it's coming back.
David Connor's got the rest of the story for us. Just listening to his official on their walkie-talkies, and are they moving forward? It's Davis Connor getting the full scope.
FCA coming back.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul on the offense, personal foul on the defense. Those penalties are all set. We're going to replay the down.
Wow.
Replaying the down
That's
on
a
them.
big break for Riverside. What a play for Andrew Hasley. Spence, I don't know why it was so hard to get, but how about this update? Christian Community 34, South Haven 13.
So now 2nd down and 10. A big play and a big statement by Andrew Hasley on that. And toss across. There's Hasley again. Can he work his magic? Cutting inside. Finally gets
what a
brought
hit.
down. Big hit made there by Riley Hall to stop the play. He gets spotted for forward progress, 1st and 10 on the 28-yard line. I think Hasley has had enough, and he's wanting to get his Falcons back in the chance for the playoffs.
He's a fiery player. He's a corner piece for this offense. They're going to get something going. They need to get it going.
And it looks like they're getting some things going at the moment. 8.5 left to go in the third.
Spencer, did you hear that update about CCS South Haven?
It's getting close, isn't it?
No.
34-13.
CCS is pulled away, 34-13. Pulled away from the Patriots. CCS, who just 3 weeks ago, big loss to Lancaster Christian. They've now reeled off wins against Bowling Green, FCA, and it looks like South Haven now.
Holcomb looking for options. Right side, deep toss. Is he going to get to his man? Incomplete. Would have been out of bounds. He had to make a long stretch to get it there, but
just overthrew him. And, of course, up in Bowling Green, Lancaster continues to score. It's now 69-14. Knights lead the Warriors.
Lancaster Christian, that's their last North game of the season, and they've won all of them. The only team they haven't played are the Patriots, and this is going into their 2nd year in 8-man football history. So we might see them play the Patriots next year, but for them to get all the wins against the North and for them to so far be the only unbeaten team in MTAC, it's incredible.
It's a great feat. It really is. And Ezel's unbeaten in MTAC as in MTAC play and in state play as well.
It's just that one loss that they got to get a scope of some of the great teams in the Southeast for 8-man football. They got to play the best and defending national champions.
This is what FCA needs to do right here. Spread it out.
They tried spreading it out. Flag
but
on the
catch
left
it.
side. There is a flag, though. On the left side, so we'll get the call from. It's like David Connor's getting a lot of mic time tonight. putting that lapel mic to use, that's for sure.
It's working pretty well tonight so far.
It's a miracle. Maybe it's just a different, maybe that different frequency I changed it to. Was what
I
happened.
think that did it.
It probably did. Range is working well for it. What does it say? Home on the range? Something like that.
What? So why don't you save the dad jokes for me, bud?
It wasn't even a dad joke. That was just a bad joke. There's dad jokes and bad jokes. Difference between the two.
Yeah, you're talking to the wrong people.
7:55. That was 7:55. Reset on the game clock. Far official.
It wasn't far off.
We were pretty close.
No, game clock operator wasn't off by much.
There are 2 flags on the play. Personal foul, unsportsmanlike on the offense. Personal foul, unsportsmanlike on the defense. This is both teams' personal foul, unsportsmanlike.
Receivers and DBs, it looks like whoever was matched up against each other that didn't give numbers, I bet you they were running their mouth with a little jaw jack and asking how the family was.
So the
And that was right. That was like when the play, like they were talking the entire time. They were looking at each other, and it's possible the official had enough of it.
just trying to keep things cooled down here in the second half.
So the clock.
And again, that's the second time this game we've seen personal fouls offset.
Exactly.
So now 2nd and 10. Falcons trying to get their first score of the game and potentially make it back.
They need something here. They need something badly.
Holcomb, shovel pass. He's got it to one of his main men on the backside. Left side down to the 15-yard line. Asa Sheets with the run. To make that 1st and 10 inside the red zone.
Great run there by Sheets. I don't think that's what FCA needs to be doing here, but a good job getting that sweep off the corner and able to pick up, being able to pick up the first down.
Clock continues to run and looked almost like the player went out of bounds, but of course
I don't know that he did.
Probably stopped for forward progress, so about 7:25 and winding down. 1st and 10. Falcons have a knack for keeping it close no matter what game they play, and they're trying to potentially orchestrate an amazing comeback. You might see it here in Fayetteville. But they have to get a score on this drive to have any chance of that.
Going with a Wildcat.
Left side, incomplete. And Carpenter, the intended receiver, just a little bit too far.
Looking for Holcomb. He was on the field. I believe he was on the field. He might not have been. No, he was on the sidelines. He was not on the field.
About 7:02.
And again, apologize for the stream quality. Struggling a little bit with signal, but we won't struggle with signal tomorrow.
And direct snap, shovels it to his teammate. There goes Asa Sheets. He's got open field. Can he get to the end zone? Is he in?
No, he didn't get it.
Just short of the goal line. Gives another set of downs for 1st and 10, but what a play, and we've got every bit of that in instant replay.
Just great heads-up thinking there on the run, getting stopped.
Or at least it looked like we had it on instant replay.
Nope, doesn't look like we got
Probably
it.
something going on with the replay.
Big
buffer.
hit right outside the goal line. And Asa Sheets almost punching it in for FCA. They're looking to get on the scoreboard right here. This would be a big move.
So now 1st and goal on the 1-yard line. Falcons trying to punch it in. And fumbles it a little bit. Zach Dooley, right side, tosses it over. Intercepted by Riley Hall.
Can't return it, though.
And
Oh, yeah, it is
Riley
an interception.
Hall.
It's live.
Riley
Wow.
Hall with the live ball, and the Riverside Knights get a much-needed stop. I wish our replay buffer wasn't broken on that. Otherwise, we would have gotten that replay. What a big play by Riley Hall, and his father in the film booth is excited about
Riverside. That's big. That if Riverside, let's just get hypothetical. Let's say Riverside makes an underdog run, gets to the championship, or gets to the second round of the playoff. That's the play they're going to look back at. 28-0. FCA's about to score. Could start something. Snatched it away from them. Like a mom taking a cookie from a kid. Just snatched it. Did you already put a touchdown on there for FCA?
That was because of the play it was because of the play that guy called back that looked like a touchdown, and there was a penalty. Forgot to change that on the scoreboard.
There was no touchdown.
And there's motion on the play, right side. There goes Sammy Morris. Free open field. He's trying to stiff arm, looked like a face mask at the flag thrown, rightfully so, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown, but it's going to be
They're going to flag it for the face mask.
And no, I will not put a touchdown on the scoreboard for that one.
There we go.
Number 3, Morris on the reception flag on the play.
And we'll get the call in just a moment. David Connors. Looks like we got, of course, a face mask on that attempted stiff arm. We'll get the call from David Connors in just a moment. Certainly a great run by Sammy Morris. If he hadn't done that face mask, he couldn't have made it to the end zone, but we will get the call.
Personal foul. Face mask on the offense.
So no announcement of the result of the penalty on there, but of course, special thanks David Connors for letting us mic him up tonight for the penalties and timeouts. Some of the great officials from the crews of Ronnie Perkins who are helping to keep the game safe tonight.
And of course, we are still working on getting an update on Adam Hubble for everybody. FCA player early in the game took a big hit and was knocked out of the game.
Didn't look like it was a big hit for Franklin Christian, but Zach Dooley is on the sideline, and they do stop it here for an injury timeout because he's just getting stretched.
Looks like he was cramping. Spencer, speaking of big games, Micah Jones to Brooks Pugh, 60 yards. CCS leads South Haven 42-13. It's gotten ugly in White House.
And it looks like Christian Community is going to take the #1 seed in the North, or at least in the driving seat of that destiny. Their only game in the North is in the final week of the regular season against the Lighthouse Christian School Lions in Antioch.
Lancaster also leads Bowling Green 76-14 now.
Of course, with South Haven, with South Haven beating, with South Haven facing Bowling Green next weekend. And of course, they have the Tennessee Heat in week 9 of the regular season. But essentially, Christian Community has it locked up, regardless of it. Even if they were to lose their final game of the regular season against Lighthouse, they would still have it locked in because of the tiebreakers. So Christian Community, congratulations to them. They're going to get a first-round bye in the playoffs, which I'm sure they would have loved to have in the last 2 years of the playoffs if it were a 6-team system. Zach Dooley just cramped up a little bit. He's being looked at on the sideline.
Well, my results for tonight are going to be mixed. I'm not going to tell you who I picked to win, though. You got to listen to Extreme Radio for that. You can catch that every Sunday, 4 p.m., right here on our YouTube channel. 8-Man Extreme. Go subscribe. Get the bell on. You'll get notified when we go live. You'll catch every show, every broadcast. On Thursday nights, of course, we took this last night off. Just been a crazy busy week and a couple of weeks. But on Thursday nights, Extreme Talk, where I get a chance to sit down with just different people. I've had some great interviews. You and I sat down on the last one. I've been able to sit down with Shaka Hill, who's the defensive coordinator for FCA and has been for 7-8 years now. Got to kick the season off, of course, with a big interview with former Lancaster Christian running back Matt Bowden. Who is now doing great at Kentucky Christian up in Grayson on the JV team right now. Of course, Ethan Garrison, formerly of Madisonville, Madisonville Defenders, Grace Baptist. He's also doing good as well. But for sure, get on YouTube, subscribe, get the bell on, get on social media, and follow us. Get some good stuff.
And we resume play here with 5:43 left to go in the third. Another touchdown here would essentially run the mercy rule, but a flag on the play.
Dead ball. Ball started on the offense. One of you guys leaned.
Wonder what he was saying about one. Oh, he's probably clarifying one of them leaned. So 1st and 15 for Riverside. But talking about the Falcons, of course, down the stretch, they've got a tough set of games ahead, regardless of playoff implications or not. Next week, they travel to Lancaster. They host the Freedom Cowboys. They host the Eagles of Ezel Harding. And then they have a bye week before the Battle of Franklin on Thursday night.